Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be looking at the HTC Desire 626S from Virgin Mobile. Now this phone also came on T-Mobile as well, and this phone came out in July of 2015, and this phone has a 5-inch IPS LCD display capable of 720p, and it is a 16:9 ratio. And also for software, this phone came with Android 5.1.1 Lollipop stock and was able to be upgraded to Android Marshmallow, which is 6.0.1, with the HTC Sense UI 7 over it, which in my own opinion, this is a pretty weird looking overlay of Android. And also this phone on the inside has a quad-core 1.1 GHz Cortex A7 Qualcomm Snapdragon 210 chip in it, with an Adreno 304 GPU. And this phone also has 8 gigs of storage and also 1 gig of RAM, unless it's a T-Mobile variant, then it has 1.5 gigs of RAM. Now quickly here, we're just going to look at the web browser to see how fast the thing goes. Now overall, it's a little bit laggy just because the fact that I have a Gboard instead of the usual HTC keyboard that this phone came with originally. Now we're just going to take a look at htc.com just to see how fast this thing loads. But other than that, we're just going to go ahead and check out a couple games here in a second. Now as for gaming on the HTC Desire 626S, Subway Surfers runs pretty well with little to no lag and little to no delay as well with moving across the train tracks in this game. It just takes a little bit to load just because this thing only has a gig of RAM, which is compared to the iPhone 6 at the year before this phone came out. And then another game that's going to be tested after Subway Surfers is Paper.io 2, which that game somewhat lagged when trying to move around before the 3 other opponents decide to come after you. So we're just going to quickly wait here, and then we'll continue on to Paper.io. Now as for build quality, as mentioned before, this has an IPS LCD panel, and this phone is made out of mainly plastic with a bit of glass on the front of the phone. Now even the volume buttons on the right hand side and the power button are made of plastic. It has a gray ring around both cameras, both on the front and back, and this thing actually has dual speakers, one on the bottom and one on the top. You don't really see that anymore. Most phones mimic it with the earpiece on the top instead of having dual speakers, and then it has a bottom facing speaker on the bottom, and this also has micro USB. And also forgot to mention, this thing can also have its storage expanded 256 gigs more with a micro SD. Now really quick here, we're just going to see how this thing performs in YouTube. Now for video, this thing could do 720p as mentioned before, but as to a surprise, I saw that this video which was a previous video on the channel, was able to play it at 60 frames per second, which is pretty crazy for a phone that's nearly 5 years old now. Really quick here, we're just going to go over RAM management. Now, this phone seems to have kept every single app, browser, and everything in the background, including YouTube and every single game, which proves that this thing is better than the last two Samsungs that I just reviewed, which was the Galaxy S Blaze and the Galaxy Amp 2. And this thing's about the same price on eBay or Amazon, which is about between $20 to $40 right now. And if you can get one of these for cheap, it'll definitely be worth it. Now, as for the cameras here, the rear camera is a 8 megapixel rear camera capable of 720p video recording, while the front is a 2 megapixel front facing camera capable of 720p recording. And there's a panoramic mode, which was different than the last two phones as been reviewed before. The camera is pretty sensitive to light, so in dark type of environments it would be perfect to take video or pictures with. Now, at the end of the day, what we all are wondering, is this phone simply worth buying right now in 2020, 5 years after its release? I would say if you can find it for pretty cheap, yes, it definitely is. Now, the cameras aren't its strong point, and the software isn't really its strong point either. It's just mainly the price, and also the fact that it's pretty cheap Android phone. But other than that, if you like videos just like this, feel free to sub down below, and also join the CNT crew. But other than that, we'll catch you all in the next one. CNT out.